I'm your child's language arts and social studies teacher for distance learning. And this is my family. I have been teaching this is my 21st year, although it feels like my first again. I've been learning a lot about distance learning and the differences between in school and, or in class, excuse me, and distance learning. So I think we'll all be learning together. Um, this is my son right here when he was 4, and now he's 6 years old. He's going into the first grade, and he starts in September. And let's see. Oh, yeah, my passions, besides teaching and having my family, are to travel, and I absolutely love reading books. Um, I'm really good at finding books for kids. So if you have a reluctant reader, let me know. I am really good at finding books that they will love. I read, of course, I read adult books too, but I mainly read, kids' books written for middle school kids. That way I know what my students are reading and know what to recommend. And so let me know if you guys have a reluctant reader. I also wanted to let you know that the slideshow is long and maybe take it in chunks. I think if you go through it, you're going to be a little bit overwhelmed. So maybe a little today, a little Saturday, a little Sunday, or just get it done with right away. It's totally up to you. My son is also doing distance learning, and he did take part in distance learning in the spring. And I just want to let you guys know that I can see both sides as a teacher and a parent. So if you're ever feeling overwhelmed or we are going to be teaching your kids this year. It's not going to be like in the spring, but it's still going to be hard. They're going to be with you still. They're going to be in your house, and it can be frustrating and difficult. And I know that my son in kindergarten kept telling me, "Why are you acting like a teacher? Why are you having me do this?" He was frustrated, and it's difficult. It's a lot harder than I ever thought it would be. So, let me know if you're having problems, or if you need extra help, or you need a little grace. I am definitely willing to give it. But I think that we're going to do a great job together, and it's going to be a really good year. I absolutely love teaching, so I'm going to try to make this the best experience that I can for your kids. Of course, it's not where I want to be. I want to be in the classroom with them. That is why I'm a teacher. But since we can't be there, I'm going to make it fun. Your kids are going to learn a lot. They're in good hands, okay? So here we go with all of the less fun things, but definitely important things. So here we go. We're going to start with language arts. And we're going to be building knowledge through content-rich nonfiction books, reading and writing grounded in evidence, and regular practice with complex texts and academic language. We're going to slowly get there. Your reading materials this year are Springboard, which is a workbook that was sent home. I had a couple parents ask, am I using that for the gifted class as well? And the answer is yes. I have been told explicitly that I do need to use that same book with my gifted students. In fact, we were all told last year that we needed to do that after I had said something about not using it all the time. So we do need to use the book regardless of the level of the child. And there are actually some really good books that come along with that. We're going to be reading Walk Two Moons. I'm really hoping that book was sent home with your children. It's a novel. We'll read that the first trimester, and it's beautiful. So there are some really good things with that. Let's see. We're also going to be using nonfiction articles that come from newsela.com and Common Lit, ReadWorks, and so much more. Writing genres. So your children will be writing informational and narrative and response to literature this year. We're hoping to get to argumentative too. We'll have to just play it by ear and see where we are at the end of the year, whether we're in the classroom or still distance learning. And we'll be working on academic vocabulary as well. I think most of you guys are probably familiar with iReady. iReady is the first thing that they're going to do. It's an online reading program. And the first thing they do is take a diagnostic test. And I think we're taking that either the second or third week of school. And that's going to determine their level. Okay. And then the program it makes adaptive lessons so that your children can practice their reading skills, and then it is assessed through Clever. That's not really something we do in our actual class for language arts. They do that work more in e-period or in elective, okay? Now for social studies. These are the ancient civilizations that we're going to study this year. We start off the year with early humans and archaeology, and then we go to Mesopotamia and ancient China, Egypt, India, Hebrews, Greece, and Rome. Now, in the classroom, I am really good at making amazing, fantastic hands-on projects. We do all kinds of amazing, exciting things. So I'm going to try to supplement some of that for those of you who are willing to allow your kids to get a little messy at home. Like, for example, last year, we buried objects that we had found in cornstarch and let it dry, and then we traded them and dug them up for archaeology. Sometimes we make maps out of salt dough. We painted peg dolls last year out of historical figures. So I want to still do some of those things. I really don't want your kids on screen all day long. And I want them to have fun. So hopefully we can work together to make some of those fun projects still happen. Let's see. Most units do have projects. We also include small formative quizzes throughout the unit. And of course, we have a cumulative summative test at the end of the unit. So that's what will really count for 100% of their assessment grade comes from the cumulative summatives. And of course, it's aligned to the Common Core standards. We also do historical inquiry. They learn about primary and secondary sources and documents. Then students evaluate the worthiness of multiple perspectives on historical issues. I love that. I think it's really good. Students learn so much, and they're able to decide and decipher what they should trust versus what is maybe hearsay. And then they will make historical claims backed by the evidence that they have found through reading their primary sources. Okay. And then grading. So the grading is based on, here are the kinds of assessments. We do the diagnostic to see where they're at. Formative is the practice. And then summative is the final grade. So that's the academic grade. The diagnostic and formative grades are not academic. The only thing that goes into the academic grade would be the summative. And the formative are skill level assignments, skill level assessments, and projects. And of course, practice work. So all that practice work goes towards that formative grade. Summative scores, they're scores that reflect the student's performance on the test based on standards, okay? Assessments that reach an application level. So they can be cumulative tests, they can be essays, oral presentations, etc. And it's 100% of that domain score. So just when you guys got used to the 4-point scale, which was last year, we thought we would spice it up a little and add 4 more. So this year, instead of it being a 1, 2, which means not meeting standard, and a 3, 4, meaning that they met the standard, it's actually going to be 2 grades each. So for example, beginning is going to be a 1 and a 2. Approaching is going to be a 3, 4. A 5, 6 would be proficient, and a mastery is a 7, 8. So I'm just going to leave that there for you, and you can read that on your own and determine whether you love that or not. And of course, we'll get back to this, but I figured this is not the time right this very second to get into detail about this. But this is what your child will be graded on. This is what you're going to see on the report card. So instead of a 4-point scale, we've now gone to an 8-point scale. All right, we're going to move right along from that. All the standards that we're working on are going to be year-long standards, and all language arts and social studies standards are going to be year-long. Therefore, they're not going to really get mastery that first trimester because we're still assessing all year. in order to get mastery, we will need more evidence than just the first trimester. Okay, so for those who are, high achievers and they're used to getting mastery, getting proficient is the highest they can get that first trimester. Okay, so if you come and see, if your child comes home and they have all proficients, that's really great. You will see many assignments and tests entered multiple times in various domains and standards. So, for example, a Cro-Magnon essay is going to have many standards attached to it. So you might see it entered under social studies and language arts under a few different standards. So it's not unusual to see a report card that has an assignment like the Cro-Magnon essay many, many times, maybe 5 or 6 times on one report card. Okay, let's see. The behavior grades are basically engagement. Are your children showing up to their classes? And are they completing the work that is assigned? So that's what this is. This is not academic. This is just behavior grades. This is exactly like last year, okay? So we've got rarely, sometimes, and consistently. Rarely, sometimes, consistently, and they will get a grade for each assignment turned in according to this scale. So last year we all learned Google Classroom, and this year we're using a new program called Otis. And Otis is a learning management system. I've been trained on it all week. It's good. It's a lot, so I'm not an expert yet. I will be, I promise you. So I'm going to ask if you could please, if you have specific questions on how to do certain things, I actually probably don't know the answer yet. So on Otis, when you're on there, there's a help feature on the bottom right of the screen, and it's actually really good. They got back to me very quickly the many times I've asked questions. So you just click on that, ask your question, and they'll email you back. Okay, sometimes it's right away. Most of the time, they'll email you back. I think mine was within 10 minutes. So that was super helpful. Of course, I can help you in the future. Right now, I'm still learning what my screen looks like and what I'm doing on my end. So I don't think I can offer a lot of help yet. I will in a few weeks once I get used to this, okay? So Otis is where you and your children can go to find out everything that needs to happen, okay? For example, there's a class board on Otis, and that's going to have important links and links to daily recorded instruction, links to Padlet, where students can ask a question during independent work time. I'm going to go over that really thoroughly with your students, your children. But last year, we were getting about 200 emails a day. And students, they're young and they didn't necessarily know that they should include the assignment that they were talking about. Or they would ask a very incomplete question and I didn't understand what they were meaning. So this Padlet is going to be, if they have a question about this specific assignment, let's say that it's Australopithecus, assignment number 1, they just go to that assignment and ask the question, and it's live, so I can go right in there and answer it for them, or another student can answer for them, or my TAs can answer for them. It's really great. I will be able to get back to them way faster, and there won't be so many confusing emails, that I will have to try to decipher. I don't know what they're meaning. What are they talking about? This is just so much better. So that's what that Padlet is. But I'm going to teach the kids all about that. So you'll know soon too. And unlike Google Classroom, where when you clicked on an assignment, everything you needed was right there, it's a little different here. These assignments are kind of broken up. So you'll have these things called tiles, and the daily lessons are broken up by steps. So like tile 1 will be the first step, tile 2 will be the second step, etc. And the first tile will always include a daily agenda. And of course, I'm going to go in detail with your students about this. The calendar is really important. And if you look, it's right here. The calendar has important due dates, important dates to know. It has my Zoom meeting links to each and every class. So definitely please have your child take a look at the calendar. I've already actually entered all my Zoom meetings for the entire year, so definitely have them look. Please have them look today or by Monday just to make sure that it's populating on their end. I just I don't have anybody to test it on. So if you can take a look, make sure my calendar's there. Because on the first day of school, they need to click on Monday and it'll show the link. You just join. It's got a little link that says join now. And if you guys could check that for me to make sure that that's populating on there, and that would be really super helpful. And Zoom class, the link is on Calendar and Otis. I just said that. And we're going to meet live every day at the start of the class period. We are not going to be together for the entire period. That would be too much for them. But I'm going to be there. It's just that they'll have time to work on their homework. We're not planning on assigning any homework at all because they're going to be online all day. So all the work that we assign will be done in class. They can work in things called breakout rooms where they're working with 3 or more students. They can work independently as long as they're kind of around. I can be around too, of course, to answer questions and things like that, but they're not going to just be staring at me talking because that'd be horrible. It's like what you guys are doing right now. It's too much information. Okay, here's the schedule. I'm sure you guys have the bell schedule, but here's this bell schedule. On Mondays, we have minimum day because we have our meetings, teacher meetings in the afternoon. So students are done at 1:53, and then on a regular day, Tuesday through Friday, we're done at 3:14. So daily attendance is required. Parents must call into the school office if a student is out, either partial day or full day. It's just like regular school. If your kid's going to be late, if they have an appointment, if they're going to miss your class, you've got to call to the office. So it wouldn't be actually to me. The attendance clerk will still be taking attendance at school. So please call Cooley if your child will miss any classes. Grades are going to be given, so that's different than the springtime where grades were not given. We are going to have regular grades during distance learning, and daily student engagement is expected. Also, I'm going to have office hours this year on Monday mornings from 8 to 8:30. And for parent meetings or student support time with the teacher, I'm going to be there. Please, if your child needs help, I do need you to be there. We're not supposed to be online one-on-one with any students. So we're asking that if your child needs additional support, totally fine, but you do need to be there, please. The link to the office hour sign up is going to be in the class board in Otis. It's not there yet, but it will be soon. And the time to meet with me will be 10 minutes, okay? Because we only have 30 minutes in a week. So the meetings will be 10 minutes and it's going to be on Zoom, okay? And finally, we're with E-Period. So E-Period is a program that we've developed to better support all students. The first 2 months of E-Period, we are going to use E-Period time to focus on digital literacy. Second step, which is a social and emotional curriculum. It's really great. It's written for middle school kids. And we're also going to have school-wide rules and procedures time where we teach the kids rules and procedures for distance learning, okay? In October, students will be placed in either an intervention. So basically, according to their test scores for iReady Math, iReady Reading, and then just basically our teacher observations, if they need it, if they need to be placed in an intervention class, that's where they're going to go. If they need to be placed in study hall because they're finding that it's really hard for them to stay on task and get their work done during the day, then they can be placed in there. Or they can be placed in an enrichment class based on their needs. And sometimes the enrichment class is just pure fun. It is a class of course, it's based in math or language arts, but it's to give the kids a break, to have a little fun with them in that area. And those classes are held every Tuesday through Friday for 30 minutes a day. Right now, they're going to be with me the first 2 months, and then they're going to go off to different teachers for that. It's a really great program. So if your child happens to be placed in intervention, They could be placed for math or language arts, okay, or study hall. So those are all intervention. Study hall would pretty much be if I see that your student is doing well in school, but they're not doing any work, or they're falling behind because they're not doing any work, but they're passing their tests, that kind of thing. Um, Support for meeting academic proficiency in one or both of these areas, and also placed based upon assessments given by the teacher. Okay, so those are the reasons why they would be an intervention. And enrichment, students who are meeting grade level standards in math and language arts will be placed in enrichment. It provided based on content areas of the teacher, and students are given a menu of classes to choose from. So basically, they give a bunch of different classes for the kids to choose from, and they get to pick what in e-period they would like to go to. It's really fun. The kids work really hard to be able to do that. It's the first time in their lives for most of them they've been able to choose a class, and usually we work hard to make those classes just really fun for them, something totally different than what they're used to in because we can kind of take a little bit of a break from the standards and do activities that are still based in language arts or math that are for fun, just for fun, not necessarily connected to the standards, which the kids absolutely love. And it's just a nice break in their day. I think it'll be an even better, nice break in their day because of distance learning. Okay. And like I said, study hall is for students who need support time completing assignments. Changing classes. Classes can change throughout the year. So we're talking about e-period still. And assessments given to determine the movement. I think we do it twice a trimester usually, once at the beginning, once in the middle. And it depends on their iReady scores and, teacher assessments and observations and things like that. If you have any questions after all of that, I'm sure you do, please feel free to email me, emangle@rcsdk8.org. Email me anytime. I'll do my best to get back to you within 24 hours. And that is that. I can't wait to meet your kids. And thank you. If you made it this long and watched till the very end, good for you. That's pretty amazing. Have a good night, and I'll meet you guys soon.